and welcome to today's weekly wear, this week's weekly wear if you will, where I'm going to be testing out a new foundation from the drugstore. This is from Revlon. This is the new skin caring foundation, Illuminance. But reverse that, it's supposed to be called the Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. Bing, as you can see here. It actually looks like it's got pretty good reviews so far, at least on Ulta's website. The price tag is horrific. I mean, really, for a drugstore foundation, 18 bucks. That's so much. Not sponsored, but like, hey, do you have Rakuten? Because at least then you can save at least a little money off. Seriously, I always have my link down below. If you do not have Rakuten yet, you are literally missing out on free money. You know, it's basically like someone handing you a 10% off coupon to get this foundation and you being like, no thanks. I don't know, not in my world. I wouldn't pass it up. Either way, you can always go down below, my link, affiliate link. It is an affiliate link, but anywho, it's an expensive foundation, right? It comes in 28 different shades if I counted correctly. Hopefully I'll be able to find arm swatches and whatnot. Based on the tiles, it actually looks like a pretty good range of shades. It looks like they've got a few paler shades. They've definitely got light shades, medium shades, and deep shades. Like I said, based on the tiles, so hopefully the arm swatches match what I'm seeing in the tiles here. But yeah, it just talks about how you're gonna get makeup and skincare in one. Skin is gonna look naturally radiant and you'll see smoother skin over time. 4 weeks to be exact for skin elasticity increasing, and it's also going to reduce the appearance of skin roughness. It's made without the things that you don't want in a foundation, gives medium coverage, and to use, they are of course selling multiple of their own products, but basically do your skincare routine and then dispense the desired amount of foundation on a sponge, brush, or your fingers. Apparently they were like commas. I don't believe in those. And just spread it onto your skin, inwards, outwards. And it even says to add more coverage as needed throughout the day or while on the go. You can use more? That's strange to me. I'm not gonna do that. But either way, new foundation. I'm excited to test it out, and I am even more excited to do so with you all. So I got the shade 117 Light Beige. Hopefully, it looks like it should be a good shade match for me, so hopefully that translates from bottle to face. We'll get you a little more zoomed in here so you can see my skin. I've certainly got some stuff we can try it out on. I've got these cheek pit, where did those come from? And then some chin pit. I mean, I've got stuff. Yeah, I've got stuff. I've got stuff, I've got skin, I've got this foundation. Let's test it out. Oh, do we remember my let's test? What happened? What happened? We turned it into a weekly wear, that's what we did. So, pump. We love pumps that work. Oh yeah, it comes in a glass bottle. It's pretty standard. It looks perfectly nice. It looks like a bottle of foundation. And let's see. Pump definitely works. So we've got one pump here of foundation. It looks a bit liquidy for sure, which I don't have a problem with. I actually prefer that than one that doesn't slide down the finger. We are going to test this out with a brush and a sponge. No primer on day one. So let's see how this does on one half of my face. Like I said, we will try it with a brush and a sponge. I'm going to do a brush first because for whatever reason, that's just what I'm used to. So let's go ahead and see what kind of coverage and whatnot we can get. I think the shade match was pretty dang good for me. It looks like it's going on very lightly. We're starting off with a light coverage, which I don't mind, especially not if it is buildable. But even so, it looks like enough coverage where I'd be pretty happy just like this, but then with a concealer on top or underneath. But right, that looks pretty dang good just to even things out. Obviously you can still see some blemishes and stuff peeking through, but as a start, as a base there, I am certainly not mad. I am actually quite excited. Now let's see how much a sponge blends this out. Hopefully not too much, but we won't know until we try. definitely sheared things out. You can see a lot more of my redness and pimples and stuff peeking through on this side. Granted, I do have more blemishes on this side, but I hope you can see the difference. Sponge definitely thins out the foundation. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this to look a little more even from side to side, see what kind of coverage we can get, all that good stuff. I'm just gonna pat this on with a brush and then blend it out with a sponge. And voila, my friends, I think it looks pretty dang good on the skin, truly. It's definitely a lighter medium coverage foundation. I think that's pretty perfect for what I look for in a foundation. It was buildable and it built on nicely. You can still see blemishes and some redness peeking through, but nothing crazy, and I think it looks quite natural and just overall nice and light, and I'm certainly excited to wear this today. Hopefully it wears well, nice and comfy, but I won't know that until I get to live in my life here. So I'm gonna go and get about with my day, get on with my day, and I will check in with you guys at the very end of the night. Ready? Hello everyone, good evening. It is the end of the night here, and I hope you all are just as excited to look at my face as I am. I am certainly curious to see how this foundation has worn, because I feel like I have noticed it transferring off onto my fingers. So let's take a peek-see together. Okay, well, we have some mascara flaking for sure, so pardon that. But aside from that, it looks mostly good, except for my chin, where it looks like it did that spotty, splotchy thing again. Yes, even Milo agrees. I don't know what that's all about. However, I think on the rest of my face it looks pretty darn good, not gonna lie. Especially considering all the transfer I was noticing. I mean, it wasn't like heavy transfer, but it was enough that it had me concerned that I was gonna be looking like a streaky, sad mess at the end of the night here. So happy times. I am hoping primer and whatnot will be able to fix the chin issue and just make things wear even better overall. So we shall see. I will test this for another couple days and I will bring you those results in just a second here. Ready? Ding! Hello everyone, good evening. End of the night here on day 3 of testing out this foundation from Revlon, and I have got the results and everything to share with you all that I promised. So on day 2 of wear, I went ahead and I used my Smashbox primer and my Hourglass concealer, and then a brush and a sponge to blend everything together, blend it out. Everything blended and applied nice and evenly, just like it did on day 1. It looked light and fresh on the skin, and just overall, like I said, I thought it looked pretty dang nice on the skin, especially for a drugstore foundation, but also just overall thought it looked nice. I did, however, think that things started off pretty quickly feeling a bit tacky and wet though after the makeup applied. I'm not sure if that has to do with the primer or what that day, but it was definitely noticeable. That being said, you know, it was just kind of note, because after that it did feel light all day, but like it might wipe off, so I was definitely a little trepidatious with touching my face and whatnot throughout the day. But at the end of the night I thought it looked pretty good. It had faded around my mouth and nose like most foundations do, but I thought that it did so gracefully, and there was much less, if any, of that chin spotting like before. It did not wipe off on the nose, but it wiped off quite a bit on my forehead with the wipe test, so that was peculiar, especially because it's not like it had completely come off my nose or anything, and that's the reason why it wasn't wiping off there, right? I mean, you guys saw the foundation on my nose. I thought that was very strange. But today, for day 3, I went ahead and used my Skin Ink primer to use a much less moisturizing primer to see if that helped with the wetness and tacky feeling, and I do think it did. I also used my Milk Flex concealer. I used that on top of the foundation, which I had blended out with a brush and sponge once again, a little layering to get things evened out and whatnot, to see see if I even needed concealer, but overall I thought things looked good and applied well, and like I said, it just looked light and fresh on the skin for sure. And throughout wear today, it just felt really nice. You know, I've been running errands and getting stuff done, getting work done, doing some baking, and overall I haven't felt scared to touch my face or anything. It maybe feels like it might wipe off on my forehead if I were to touch my forehead, but overall things have felt secure and just fine throughout the day of wear. And at the end of the night here, I think things look pretty darn good. My forehead actually looks pretty matte, and it looks like even though it did fade off of my chin and my nose once again, I think it did so pretty gracefully, you know? I don't think it looks terrible. So I will go ahead and give you guys my pros and my cons list as always, so you can get a better look at this foundation, see if you're going to want to test it out yourself. For the pros, it definitely has an easy application and is blendable, which I always appreciate, as well as it being layerable. I love being able to build my custom coverage of the foundation, give more coverage if I want, sheer it out if I want. I also think that it has a nice, light, skin-like, natural-ish finish, you know? I think you can tell I'm wearing foundation, but like I said, I think it looks pretty dang good for a foundation, and definitely on the more natural side for a foundation. It is also lightweight, mostly, you know. There were some little hiccups between my days of testing, but overall I think it's a mostly lightweight feeling foundation, and also it has a mostly graceful fade to it, you know. A little problem with spotting on the chin and fading on the nose, but I think overall it's a pretty graceful fade, especially for a drugstore foundation, and apparently Milo is agreeing with me there, so that gives me comfort in that bullet point. But then we get into the cons, one being that it can wipe off and transfer. Now thankfully it's not super noticeable. Like I said, the fade is still graceful, but there is that wipe off transfer that could happen, and also it can feel tacky slash wipe offy. I just, you know, that was just yesterday, but I wanted to make certain to note that because that does not happen with all foundations, and I just, so it might be primer specific, so it might be a little finicky in that sense, but overall, as of right now, those are the only cons that I can think of. So I mean, for a drugstore foundation, this one does not have me upset. I think, you know, especially if you can find a shade match as good as I was able to find with this one, I think it's pretty dang nice. Do I think it's going to become my favorite all-time go-to foundation? No, I can already tell you it's not that. But if you're just looking for kind of an everyday whatever foundation, might be something to consider. So as always, I just hope this review was helpful for you guys in seeing how this new foundation from Revlon works and looks on the skin and all of that. You can let me know if you have tried out this foundation, what kind of skin do you have, and how did it work for you in the comments below, along with any other foundations you want to see me test here in future upcoming weekly wears. You can also just let me know if you enjoyed the video, or if you also have cat hair on your face, by giving the video a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe, tap that notification bell down below, and become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, stay well until then. Bye!